This poem took 7 years to write. I'm a big boy now, I'm almost 60 years old, and I've experienced my share of loss through death. This was probably the hardest one for me. And it took 7 years before I could even begin to try to put words down on paper. And I'm sure that each of us have had that kind of experience. The good news for me is that I did get it written, I got it out, and I think I've moved on. But there was a long time when I didn't think I was going to make any progress. This poem is called The Long Goodbye. 7 years. O death, where now is thy sting? Embedded still in a heart long hardened by grief, like a stone forever on the ocean's floor, whose pith has never known moisture. Until now, when just a little willingness broke through its walls and flooded its core with wetness, water thrown down, brought about abruptly, condensed from my vaporous sorrow to fall like rain, to soak my dry interiors and desiccated soul soil, to loose in my heart death's barb, left in exchange for you, an aching placeholder for your physicality. 7 years since the day of forsaking, when you bartered moribund for immortal and departed dearly. Anger and anguish, sullied sisters both, vied to replace you, moved in even before your reliquiae reposed. I kept them close to me at great waste of shame and expensive spirit, hoping they might impersonate the glamour and perplexity my compelling disease invested in you. Predictably, they turned to stone, became much more than part of my soul's garish decor. Golems these, with life enough to sink me into wretchedness. I loved you, but so much of my love was diluted. You resembled an exotically prosaic archetype, one on whom I might gratuitously overlay my jaded contrasexual image. In my love-blind eyes, you were anima made flesh. I adored the me I saw in you, worked hard to help you bring that out. I even worked the controls when you faltered. I loved the thought of making you over. It never occurred to me then that I couldn't do this. Caught up was I in the heady, deadly seduction of fixing others. I loved you, too, for the sweet sanguinity of personal omnipotence sucked out of your steaming need of me. This sustained even the sham for a while. I never believed that you could love who and what I really was. In my lucid hindsight, yet do I marvel at my obtuseness when I see your cascading image infinitely reflected in the barbershop mirrors of my sober moments. Only now do I know the enormity of your sacrifice. You died that I might live, even if you knew it not. Your love was transparent. Your sweet love intruded boldly in the secret place where my own was hiding. My love, and my true and silent love so often forgotten in the white noise of my compulsions. You coaxed it out more than any before you. My real love longed to please you, make you laugh, craved the lush comfort of your joy, ached for a defiant, uxorious submission. When it touched you lambently, playing over the texture of your rippling spirit, like the sun on cool water, it would withdraw abruptly, knowing the perverse appeasement of pain. When I learned that you were dying, I tried to deny death, prevail against him, until my cock-crowing rage at the dawning of insight announced my betrayed and heartbroken hubris. I beseeched God, thinking I might strike a bargain still, thinking I might have something he'd want bad enough to exchange for your life. He turned his face from my offering. What I did not know was that you had already made a deal, one that had nothing and everything to do with me. You redeem your affliction, and I negotiate life on life's terms. My anger turned inward, consuming me as your own flesh melted away. Needing to quench that dissipating fire, I found the fabled whiskey river and dove to my bottom. But you died long before I hit. On the day of your demise, me and my daughter sobbed and hugged each other in the park behind her school when I told her you wouldn't be coming home from the hospital. Both of us wondered what we would do. She wanted to know who would be her mommy now. There were no trick answers for that question. The sequence of recollected events rewound and fast-forwarded to and from your passing, and the present offers two views. The former, advised by intrepid hearsay, suggests a counterpoint of anger and alcohol repeated, imitated by successive solos of clamoring inner voices and destructive automated conduct interwoven into a well-defined structure of a life out of control. The latter, how does one describe a blackout, save a disturbance in consciousness wherein one does some things which he cannot or dares not remember? It took years before I started double-crossing my disease, turning self-evidence. I became willing to face the facts of my unmindful actions, the ravages of my past. I began to recover my original mind, to assert my true self in the world. I admitted wrongs, made restitution and material apology to some of those I had harmed. But how to make things right with you? I petition your forgiveness via a newly opened channel forged by prayer. I felt buoyantly better having done that, but not consoled. But across the borders of mortality, through the turgidity of relative time, into the non-space between death and life came your vital, vibrant thought. I need forgiveness too. 7 years it took me to heal enough to write this. 7 years to think of you without distress, guilt, or resentment. 7 years to shape these thoughts into the right words to moderate the severity of my self-punishment. I forgive you, my love, for dying. Your death was neither the cause of all that went wrong with me, nor did it eclipse my life's fullness. I forgive you knowing full well that in doing so I renounce my claim to victimhood, surrender presumptuous power, and expose myself again to hurt. In forgiving you, I don't have to forget you. I can learn from my remembrances, escape the wheel of pain and abuse, and hurt no one else like I've been hurt. Forgiving you, I let loose the past. I can gift you with an act of love impossible to consummate while you yet lived. I can let you go, and in doing so, move on.